you do have a supply assets and you do have a borrow assets. And in supply assets, it could be actually anything, but let's take the example of volatile assets. So you do have Rapid BTC, it's a Bitcoin from Bitcoin network on Ethereum. You can have ETH, SOL, BNB, TON, it doesn't matter. So all of this are the volatile assets, and this is the collateral or supply assets. It's usually called supply assets in the lending protocols. Then the borrow assets, usually it's a stable coin. So you can borrow some stable coins against the collateral of the volatile assets. It's your collateral, it's your debt. The same, if the value of your collateral will go down, so, or if the value of your loan will go up, and your debt or loan or borrowed assets will be more or less equal to your collateral, you're gonna be liquidated. The real example here, that's how I bought the car actually, and here was $120,000, and I borrowed 60K in stablecoins. So right now I do have 174K and 65K debt. If we will calculate the difference, 174 minus 65, we have 109. So actually my car cost me not 60K, my car cost me 120 minus 109, 11K. So I bought a car 6 times cheaper. That's a thing. That's why we need to use the lending protocols. Let's go to the cases of usage for lending protocols. So one case, the first one, is a leverage. Easy. You can supply ETH, you can borrow USDT against your ETH, then you can swap USDT to ETH immediately and supply again. And repeat these supply cycles several times. What you will get? You'll be able to get a long position with X3 leverage, something like this. So, but with each cycle, your position becoming more and more risky. You may notice. Hello everyone, my name is Vlad. There's an educational series about the DeFi, and today we're going to talk about the lending protocols. Actually, I am a DeFi lead at Pan Foundation, and my role is to grow DeFi Anton ecosystem. So today I would love to talk about the lending protocols. I have an agenda for you, and we will talk about the mechanics, how it works. We will talk about the calculations. We will go deeply as much as possible to understand how the liquidations works and all of the things actually. We'll talk about the history of lending and borrowing. We will see the examples how you can use lending in your real life to buy a car, or if you want to do leverage, long or short in the DeFi. So today gonna be a full deep explanation about the lending protocols. And we can start. So the idea of the lending protocols actually came far long away. So simple mechanics, like a simple explanation how it works. Let's start. First, let's check the general banking system, and let's check the banking example. If, for example, you will go to the bank to take a loan and put as a collateral your house. So you will go to bank, and bank estimated a house. For example, the house will cost $1 million. So someone from the bank will come to your home and say like this is what's around cost $1 million. Then bank take it like a collateral. And bank able to give you a loan based on your collateral. Usually the loan should be lower than collateral. Why? Because if not, that's the position will be in a default. So your loan can't be more than collateral in a value. And usually, to not be in a default, all banks liquidate your collateral when the collateral will go down in a value, or your loan will go up because of the percentage which you should pay always on your loan. And that's actually a regular banking system. It could be a house, or it could be a car, or it could be a business, or even though it could be a stocks. So you can provide as a collateral stocks and lend something against your stocks. And all of the things we'll call the position. So position, it means you do have a collateral and you do have a debt. And in a regular banking, that's easy. The another one question also, you have a credit limit or debt limit on your credit card. What it means? It means that you can spend some money without the collateral. But the thing is that you actually provided collateral to bank, and the collateral is your identity, because you're revealing your identity to the bank, and bank knows who you are, and they can easy send someone to your home and say like, open the door, you should give the money back. This is it. So you're revealing your identity. But in crypto, while we're using just wallets, we don't have only wallets. We don't have identity in general. We just have an address. So we can easily, for example, use any of our wallets, but no one didn't know what is the wallet here. Like, this is just an address, and you don't reveal your identity. So how lending and borrowing in crypto works? It's just a simple explanation for now. So the simple explanation of lending and borrowing in crypto looks like this. You do have a supply assets and you do have a borrow assets. And in supply assets, it could be actually anything, but let's take the example of volatile assets. So you do have Rapid BTC, it's a Bitcoin from Bitcoin network on Ethereum. You can have ETH, Sol, BNB, TON, it doesn't matter. So all of this are the volatile assets, and this is the collateral, or supply assets. It's usually called supply assets in the lending protocols. Then the borrow assets, usually it's a stable coin. So you can borrow some stable coins against the collateral of the volatile assets. It's your collateral, it's your debt. The same, if the value of your collateral will go down, so, or if the value of your loan will go up, and your debt or loan or borrowed assets will be more or less equal to your collateral, you're going to be liquidated. So the lending protocol will take your collateral to pay your debt. It's very easy explanations. It's actually don't work like this, and we will go very deeply right now, so I will explain you how it works exactly. But in general, this is it. And the thing is here that actually lending and borrowing, it's not about houses, not only about the houses and dollars or crypto assets. You can easily, for example, in real finance, you can use stocks or company shares or even some bonds, and you can use a broker to estimate your assets in a value and give you a loan based on the assets. And this is actually lending and borrowing. But this financial tool in regular finance, very restrict. So you might have a license even to use it, and you might use it via the middleman, so you cannot use it by yourself. And the lending protocols in crypto, they are more user-friendly, so you can use it just with a wallet. You don't need to pass any KYC, you don't need to have any permission, you don't actually need to have any middleman. You are owning the assets, even if they are in the lending protocol. And your position, so that's kind of your position here. It's actually your position because the lending protocol gives you the tokenized version of your position, of your collateral and your debt. And only cryptography securing you, so it means you own the assets. And that's all of the beneficials of the DeFi. So let's go deeply. I would love to tell a bit about the history of lending and borrowing. So the history of lending and borrowing started really far, far away. 1500 year, Medici formalized the lending system at all in general. Then 1600, the pawn shops became popular in Europe. So people was able to put as a collateral some jewelries, for example, some gems, or some commodities, even books, some gold, and take money as a loan against their collateral. And 400 years ago. So then 1800, the modern banking system was formed in Europe and the USA and Asia. Then 1864, the National Bank Act in US allows people and companies and businesses take loans in the banks for their needs. Then nearly to our time, 1950, and we got introduction of the credit cards. So that's amazing thing. You can pay everywhere. You can have your credit score, and you're revealing your identity. The bank just know how to find you, actually. Then 2010, rise of P2P lendings. So there's actually a lot of websites. It's called P2P lending, where some people can give you a loan against something, and it's easy. Then 2018, the DeFi era, based on Ethereum, on the smart contracts. 2020, we got two first lending protocols. It's Compound and Aave. I will show you them today. And 2024, we got very good updates in the lending field, some kind of like a soft liquidation and the collateral swaps, and we're still growing and updating the lendings at all in general. So I would love to show you firstly the example. The lending protocol look like this. So you can deposit some money, some assets, and you can borrow some assets. This is actually it. And it looks the same on different blockchains. So that's lending protocol on Ton. You can supply some assets and you can borrow some assets. This is it. That's lending protocol on Tezos, the same, supply and borrow. And yeah, there is more complicated tools. I will show you them later. So the question is, why money markets is the core part of the DeFi protocols and not the DeFi ecosystems? I actually created a video about the DeFi, so you can watch it. They're already on the channel. But I will remind you that the DeFi ecosystem usually consists of tiers. And we do have the first tier, we do have a second tier, we do have a third tier. And the first tier usually had 5 types of protocols, and one of them, very important, is a lending protocol. And if you will go to analytics tool about the old DeFi, it's called DeFi Llama, you will find here the page categories, and you will find that the second category of DeFi application based on the TVL, $51 billion, and 478 protocols, it's a lending protocols. So they are the top category on each chain. You may ask the question, why? Because this type of protocols giving us the utility for the main DeFi assets and the main coin of the ecosystem. Like on Ethereum is ETH, and the major part of ETH inside of the DeFi ecosystem stored in the lending protocols and also liquid staking derivatives, where assets from liquid staking derivatives stored in the lending protocols. And the lending protocols, they are actually about the real yield. So some people providing assets and some people borrowing assets. You may ask also the question like, okay, how lending protocols earn money? So that's very simple. We can go back here and what it means, how they earn money. So you're paying negative interest here because you're using the loan, and someone provided this money to the deposit, and on deposit they're receiving a positive interest, and the difference between interests, that's actually the earnings of lending protocol or a bank. If you will see if you will check any bank offers for deposits and loans, you will understand that deposits usually lower percentage interest, lower than on borrows. And the difference is it's the earnings of the bank or the earnings of the lending protocol. The lending protocols fully work the same. So people here receiving positive interest because they're providing assets, and the people who borrow those assets paying negative interest to people who provide those assets. And the thing is that on the lending protocol itself, you are able to get the interest here while you're providing USDT, for example. And at the same time, it could be a collateral to make a loan for you. So your collateral already deposit and already earn interest. That's the difference with regular banking and the lending protocols in crypto. You can also go to the video about the DeFi and you can check what actually, so the lending protocol is a DeFi tool. What means this is a DeFi tool? It means that this tool is based on the smart contract. The logic of this tool is based on the smart contract. And with compared to regular finance, the logic of the regular finance tools and regular banking, lending, and borrowing based and stored on the hostings, centralized hostings. The difference here that the logic of the lending protocols are in smart contracts. Smart contracts were written on Solidity, and they are based inside of the virtual machine of the blockchain. And the virtual machine of the blockchain are based inside of the nodes, and nodes are everywhere around the world. So anyone able to set up his node. And that means that this type of the financial tool, it's working 24 hours, 7 days a week, whole year. So it's working non-stop. With compared to regular finance, for example, the banks usually work in some working hours. Here is working until the blockchain is working. And yeah, I advise you to check the video about DeFi. We're going deeper in a lending protocol. So The Lending protocol is a major part of each DeFi ecosystem. Usually, it takes place in the first tier of the protocols. It as a utility and features is a utility for the main DeFi assets is the DeFi Lega block, because we can build on top of the Lending protocol. For example, to build the leverage yield farming, we need to have IMM protocol and Lending protocol together in one closed system, and it could be leverage yield farm. That's why Lending protocol is a Lega block. And you can check my words. I open DeFi Llama, so here is the category of the Lending protocols, and they are on different chains. They're usually taking the major part of the TVL. Then we will go to deep explanation, actually how it works. So be ready. That's might look not easy, but actually, if you follow each step, you will understand that this is very simple and very easy to understand. So let's go. I would love to show you the examples where we do have ETH as a collateral and we borrowed USDT. And I would love to show you two examples when we just have a wallet and we have some balance on the wallet. And based on the balance in our wallet, we will buy a car. And another one example is using the Lending protocol. So let's start with the first one. So first condition here is 1 ETH cost $3,000. On the wallet, we do have 3 ETH. It means we do have $9,000. We would love to buy a car. Our car costs us $6,300. It means we should sell 2.1 ETH to buy a car for $6,300. It means that our wallet balance gonna be 0.9 ETH or $2,700 because of the price 1 ETH equal 3,000. So I think you're getting this point. This is very simple. We just sell part of ETH to buy a car. Then, if you're using Lending protocol, you can supply assets. So you can supply this ETH and you can borrow assets. Let's imagine we supplied 3 ETH or same $9,000. We will get some positive interest, some positive APR, because someone will take this ETH and will borrow it. But we could borrow USDT against our ETH, and we're also going to pay some negative interest. Our borrow going to be the same as the price of the car, so take 6,300 USDT. And our total balance going to be a car, so we will buy a car for this amount. And the balance going to be our supply assets minus our borrowed assets. So 9,000 minus 6,300 is 2,700. So actually, this one and this one are the same. We do have a car, and we do have $2,700 with the condition where the price of ETH are $3,000. Okay, I think it's fully clear. Let's go deeply. Let's imagine that the price of ETH gonna be 6,000. Okay? So that's the same thing which we did before. We will compare the first case with the wallet and the second case with the Lending protocol. Why we're using Lending protocol? First case with the wallet. If you will check, I actually just copied this result to here. So we sold 2.1 ETH, we bought the car, we do have wallet balance 0.9 ETH, and it was $2,700. And there's an update because the price changed. An update, what do we have? Just in the wallet balance, we have a car, it costs the same, let's imagine, $6,300, but the wallet balance are changed. So our wallet balance, same in ETH, but different in value because the price of ETH growed up. The value is 5,400. I think you fully understand it. So that's very easy to calculate. 0.9 merge 6,000. So easy, 5,400. Then, if we will go to the Lending protocol, let's compare the situation. With the Lending protocol, our supply assets, the same 3 is, but the value is different. It's $18,000 because the price of it is 6. It's x2. from our previous situation. We don't have a borrowed assets. They are the same. We own to the lending protocol 6,300 USDT minus some APR because we are paying for our loan. So let's calculate the balance. Car, they're the same, but the balance in our position here gonna be 18,000 minus 6,300. We will get 11,700. Okay, so right now let's compare the difference if we are just selling our crypto from our wallet to buy a car, or if we are using lending protocol, but the price are changing. And they're gonna be the difference. This amounts here minus this amounts here. And we are getting more $6,300, so we're winning. And that's actually the difference and the use case why people are using lending protocols. I would love to show you the real example here. That's how I bought the car actually. Here was $120,000 and I borrowed 60K in stable coins. So right now I do have 174K and 65K debt. If we will calculate the difference, 174 minus 65, we have 109. So actually, my car cost me not 60K, my car cost me 120 minus 109, 11K. So I bought a car 6 times cheaper. That's the thing. That's why we need to use the lending protocols. But here, when I'm giving you this example, I supposing that the price are changing and value more in up. I mean, like it's what 3,000 now, it's 6,000, it's 2x. But what if the price will drop down? And here where the problems come in, because you're gonna be liquidated. But first thing first. Before we will go to explanation of how lending and borrowing works, with all of the calculations, I would love to tell you that I do have a private Telegram channel with a portfolio, and there is a channel with experts. The people do networking there, the people starting crypto and DeFi, and most of the people spend 5-6 years in crypto like me, and working somewhere with a DeFi or a crypto company, providing value to users. So jump in, the link under the description. I showed in my private channel the portfolio. We started from $100,000. Right now it's $160,000 with all of the DeFi tools, all of the farming tools, everything explained with the reports. So I think this situation is fully clear. You're getting more money because you're using lending protocol. Maybe it's good what I need to repeat, that here I calculating the balance. Our balance calculating, for example, we can repay back our loan from our collateral, from our supply assets. That's why I minusing 18,000 minus 6,300 and getting 11,700. That's actually the value of our position here. And that's the value of our assets in total. This value of our assets and this value of our assets, but the difference here we're using just a wallet and we sold our crypto. And here we didn't sell our crypto, we put it into the collateral in the lending protocol and we created the whole position here. So this is it. Let's go in deeper. Let's imagine the situation that the price of 1 ETH gonna be $2,500. And that's gonna be very interesting. So let's go. The same, I just actually copied this here. So we sold 2.1 ETH to buy a car. That's the same. Our balance 0.9 ETH. But here's come the update because the price changing. A car costs the same, but the wallet balance 0.9 ETH right now costs us 2,250. So that's the difference because the price of ETH went down. Let's compare this situation with the situation inside of our lending protocol with our position. So the supply assets, same 3 ETH, but it costs right now $7,500 plus some APR. We still own to lending protocol 6,300 minus some APR. And our balance here, so the car the same, so car the same here and car the same here. But our balance gonna be 7,500 minus 6,300. and it's $1,200. What it means? It means that we will get less with compared to just solding our crypto. So here, in this case, using the lending protocol, it's not efficient. We are losing money. Just to calculating it, so we will have this amount here and this amount here. And just comparing this case to this case, if we will stay in our position, if we'll use the lending protocol, we're gonna be minus $1,050. So that's a thing. And that's actually very bad. Why it's very bad? Because do you remember when our supply assets value are becoming more or less equal to the value of borrowed assets? And right now it's more or less equal. 7,500 and 6,300 is not equal, but it's more or less equal. We may got the liquidation. So someone will go to the lending protocol and will repay our debt for us and will take our collateral. I will right now explain you how it works, no worries. So the problem that the lending protocol or bank couldn't be in a situation when it almost in a default. Default means that the borrowed assets, the value of the borrowed assets, cost more than the collateral. And that's actually default. So it's a collapse of the banking system. And that's what was in 2008. That's a crisis. So there's no many banks or lending protocols which want to be in a default. It means to prevent the default, they're not waiting when your assets gonna be equal, when your supply assets and borrowed assets gonna be equal. They're waiting like around 80% of your assets borrowed. So it means like you do have a collateral $100 and you borrow it 50, just a 50. And then your debt will grow up to 80 and then you get liquidated. So that's the thing. Lending protocols and banks wouldn't wait until it's going to be equal full. They will liquidate you and when it's going to be like barely equal, minus 20%, the difference between the value of supplied and borrowed assets. And I will explain you right now how actual liquidation mechanics works and what the results for the users. So that's look a bit more complicated than the previous one. But it's okay, no worries about this, the same. 1 ETH costs $2,500. Supply assets, it was 3 ETH, it's right now it's 3 ETH. It cost 7,500 plus some APR, borrowed assets minus 6,300 minus some APR, and that's actually the same that we have here. So this is the same, this is the copy. But what coming to play here? Here coming to play the collateral factor. So I need to involve some terms to explain you how it works actually. So you can understand it everything. Collateral factor, it's a coefficient which calculated with following formula. Collateral factor is CFI. CFI, it's borrowed assets divided to lended assets. And if we calculate our collateral factor right now, so we do have our borrowed assets, it's here. We do have our supplied assets, it's here. And the coefficient here gonna be 0.84. Or if we will convert it to percentage, it's gonna be 84%. It means that the 84% of our supply assets are borrowed. What it means? Easy? I think easy. So, or we are estimating our borrowed assets as 84% from our supplied assets. And then, so I think this is very easy to understand. Then the next term, if you don't get it, just repeat. So the next term is liquidation threshold. The liquidation threshold is actually the point decided by each lending protocol by themselves. It's a point where the protocol decide to liquidate you, and it's a point of your collateral factor. For example, if the protocol will decide that we will open the liquidations from 80% of collateral factor, it will mean that if your ratio supplied and borrowed assets will go up to 80 or more, like 81, and then you're going to be liquidated. So you're going to be eligible to liquidate. What it means eligible to liquidate? It's just a term in the smart contract that someone, everyone actually, came here to the lending protocol and liquidate your position. How to liquidate your position? I will explain. So that's the logic here. Liquidation threshold, it's a point when the protocol decide to liquidate you. It's a point of the ratio between borrowed and supplied assets of your position. So if your liquidation threshold are lower than collateral factor, you're going to be liquidated. And right now, our liquidation threshold is 80% here, and our collateral factor is 84% here. So you are, in your position, eligible to be liquidated. How it works? Liquidator, it's a regular user. It could be a bot who monitoring all of the actions on chain and checking, are this position eligible to liquidate? If yes, liquidate. Why? Because the liquidator usually receiving the bonus percentage, bonus from liquidation. So for the liquidator, it's earning money to liquidate the positions. How it works? Firstly, the thing is that usually the liquidator able to liquidate around half of your position, so for 50%. It means that the liquidator will be able to liquidate only half from 6,300 USDT. It's $3,150, 50 USDT, sorry. So that's actually USDT. What it means? It means that he need to buy someone USDT, someone from the market, then came here and liquidate this position by repaying debt for you, for your position. And then, because he repaid debt, he able to take the equal part from your collateral and 5% of liquidation bonus. For example, it's 5% of liquidation bonus here. So that's the idea. The same amount that he repaid, he able to take from your collateral, which is equal to 1.26 ETH, because the price of ETH is 2,500, and you can also easy calculate it here. So 1.26 merge 250. This is 3,150. Then the liquidation bonus here is 0.063 ETH or $157. Why? Because it's 5% actually from your amount here. So merge 5%, and we do have the liquidation bonus, and that's the total amount which liquidator taking from your position. So 3,150 and $157 going to liquidator account. And I think also this is pretty easy. If you don't get it, just repeat. So, or ask questions in the comments. Then, what you will get after the liquidation. So, let's understand what you will get after liquidation. The same situation, 1 ETH costs 2,500, as it was here. But let's calculate the remaining situation. It's better to do like this. So the remaining situation here in your position gonna be, let's calculate how much ETH you will have here. You had before 3 ETH, it was 3 ETH, minus 1.26 because it was taken by a liquidator. Then minus 0.063 is a liquidator bonus. And this is the rest, 1.67. And if we'll calculate 1.67 ETH with the price of 1 ETH equal 2,500, it's going to be 4,192. And it's actually easy to check how much it's going to be. Just 1.67 merge 250. So that's the thing. That's mostly the same. I just put a bit small difference here. We can change it. So let's actually double check it. 3 minus 1.26 minus 0, 0.63. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be 1.677, and then merge 2,000 and 500, and in total, let's add here, yeah, that's what we will have in total, 4,192, so 4,192, just to be sure, plus some APR, of course. And our debt gonna be 3,150. Why? Because the liquidator paid half of the debt for us, minus some APR. So let's calculate our collateral factor, and let's understand, are we eligible for liquidation or not? So our collateral factor, CF, collateral factor, let's calculate it. CF, it's our borrowed assets here, divide to our supplied assets here. It's 0.75, or let's convert it to percentage, 75%. Do you remember that our liquidation threshold are still 80%? So, are we eligible to be liquidated? We will be eligible if liquidation threshold lower than the collateral factor. But right now we do have 80 and 75. But 75 are lower than 80. It means we are not eligible to be liquidated. It means our position is healthy. So no one can't liquidate it because our collateral factor is 75% and it's lower than 80%, the point when you're going to be eligible to be liquidated. And that's okay. Our position is fully healthy. So the liquidator, what they're doing, they are repaying debt for us, and they're taking part of our collateral to make our position healthy, to prevent the default of the lending protocol. What's our balance? Our balance here, so we do have the same car, you remember, and if we will repay our debt, 3,150 from our collateral, we will have the difference, $1,042. So this is it. And let's actually, that's a different thing. So $1,042. Let's compare to here, because the situation here means that you are eligible to be liquidated because of the collateral factor 84%. This amount, 1,200, is not the actual amount of your balance here because you are eligible to be liquidated and you're going to be liquidated by the liquidator. It means that this amount's going to be the real one here. And it means still that in the case when ETH dropping down to $2,500, you are more efficient to use just a wallet, so you don't need to use a lending protocol. And here, there's a big difference that just using wallet, it's more efficient. So what it means for us? It means for us that lending protocol inefficient in a special case when the asset will go up, and this special case only works when you're putting the volatile assets as a collateral, so as a supply asset, and it go up. But in a different way, it's also called long position. In a different way, it will works with a short position if you will put into the supply assets not the volatile but the stable like USDT, and if you will borrow Ethereum against USDT, and if you immediately sell Ethereum that you are borrowed, you will be in a short position, and when the price will go down, you will earn money. You can do the calculation by yourself with this example. That could be your homework to understand how the lending protocols works. So just calculate the short position when you're putting USDT in the supply assets and ETH in the borrowed assets, and you are immediately selling your borrowed ETH with this price, and then price going down, down, down. If you guys do have any questions of how to build a project in a DeFi or in crypto at all, starting from MVP to where to find developers, where to find dev teams to build a protocol, tokenomics, go-to-market, audits, you can find another link in the description. You can contact me and I can connect you with some team, because I know around very good teams who can help you. So if you do have any questions, just let me know. let's see how I can help you. We are continuing. So, final thing here. If the price will go back to $6,000, but we already been liquidated, so we do have not a 3s, we do have 1.67 ETH. And the price of it is $6,000. It means our supply balance is going to be $10,020 plus some APR. I'm not calculating APR here in each example because it will be more calculations, and that's already complicated. Just to not make it more complicated. So we do have some plus APR, and the same, we have $3,150 as our debt, borrowed USDT. So minus APR, we do have the same car, and let's calculate the difference. So the difference here gonna be, if we will pay back our debt from our supplied assets, the difference is gonna be $6,870. And if we will compare the same situation with a wallet, what we will have? We will have here the result of using the lending protocol even after the liquidation, when someone took almost half of our ETH from supply balance, and our position in the wallet, 5,400, we will have plus $1,470. That's actually the difference. So, a funny thing, you using lending protocol, you've been liquidated, someone took a part of your ETH, and you still have a positive difference with just selling your crypto. So selling crypto is very not efficient. This is conclusion here. And I would love to go through some examples on the websites and explain you a bit better on the interfaces how it works. So let's see. I would love to show firstly this lending protocol because it was actually a long time ago built by my team. And if we will go to the markets, there is no money right now here, but the user interface and user experience very, very good. So we will go to the markets. For example, we will go to the USDT market here. It means, so what do we have here? Total supply, how much assets in total supply? Supply APY, so how much you're earning by supplying USDT. Number of suppliers is 26 people in supply. Then total borrow, how much assets in the borrow? 17,000. Borrow APR, almost 7%, and number of borrowers, 6 borrowers. So available liquidity, it's total supply minus total borrow, and it's almost 5,000. Here, just a chart of borrowed assets from total supply, and the rest what we have is available liquidity. So the market details, utilization rate. What is the utilization? Very simple. Utilization is utilization of the supply market. So how much assets are borrowed and the percentage of borrowed assets to supply assets. Right now it's almost 80%. Then a collateral factor. Remember, collateral factor, 60%. A liquidation threshold, 65%. A liquidation bonus or liquidator bonus, 10%. So what it means? It means that we are able to take loans lower than 60%, and we're going to be liquidated if our value of the loan going to be 65 or more percentage from our supply assets, from our collateral. That's the reserves of the market, usually lending protocols and banks taking reserves. Reserve factor 30%, and that's actually a bit more complicated. That's why USDT, it's a tokenized share of a debt. That means that you're owning actually the part of the market inside of the lending protocol if you're using lending protocol, because lending protocol tokenizing your debt, tokenizing your assets there. There's an exchange rate from USDT to YUSDT, and that's actually a good chart of interest rate, see, borrow API and supply API, and that's a difference. And that's actually a mathematical model, and this mathematical model called kink. Why it's called kink? Because we do have some kink point somewhere on the chart, and from this kink point, the APY dramatically growing. That's why it's called kink, because before the kink, we do have a linear model. After the kink, we are dramatically growing. That's a kink model, a kink math model of the lending protocols. So, if we will go to any other lending protocols, like Evaa protocol, for example, on Ton, that's actually the same. We do have available liquidity, we do have LTV. LTV is collateral factor actually, loan to value. We do have liquidation threshold is the same. It means like 80% here. Liquidation bonus utilization, how much money are borrowed. So it's borrowed $20 million, again $34 million on the USDT market. And if we will go to Spark, for example, that's the same here. Let's find USDT markets, and then USDT here. You will find the same information. So can be supplied, total supplied, deposit APY, then supply cap here. So we do have some actually caps to supply assets. That's okay. Then can be borrowed. How much can be borrowed? And then the borrow cap, the borrow API, a bit more complicated, but mostly the same. Instantly available borrow cap, reserves factor, the same reserves that we have. Actually, the same Lightning model with King. Maximum loan to value 91%. That's collateral factor. Liquidation threshold 92%. Liquidation penalty 1%. That's what's going to liquidator. So all Lightning protocols looks mostly the same. We do have another one Lightning protocol. It's called Aave. Works in the same manner. So supply assets, borrow assets. You can check all of the markets here. For example, Ethereum market, how much is in supply, how much is in borrow, the supply APR here, the borrow APR here, and all of the information, utilization rate, available liquidity, Oracle price. So I think it's very easy to understand. You can just go and check. I advise you to take $5 or even $10 and check a few lending protocols on different chains. Just go to the Lendings on DeFi Llama, push categories, and then open first 10 and just provide some assets and borrow some assets and try to understand how it works. The homework is to calculate the short position. So you're supplying USDT, borrowing some volatile asset, for example, if ETH, and then you're selling it immediately with the current price, the price going down, and try to calculate it, try to calculate how much it's going to be. We are going next to the next point. So what kind of tools do we have? That's what I opened before. So one of those tools, it's actually the FuruCombo Tool, allowing you to play with a lending protocol. So how to play with the lending protocol? For example, you would love to change your collateral, but you don't want to pay back your debt. And that's where the FuruCombo coming into play. So it's essentially like different tooling for the lending protocol. I know that on Aave, if you are supplying assets, you can switch. So you can change one collateral to another collateral, and that's actually very good solution here. So you don't need to repay your debt; you can use it. But the general tool to help you with playing with leverage, so you can leverage your position, or you can do the collateral swap, is also FuruCombo on a different lending protocol. So that's a type of lending protocols. It's Spark, Aave, Compound. So that's how the tooling for the lending protocols works. Then what will be very helpful for you is the documentation. So you can just go to all documentation and all the protocols. You can find FAQ and documentation to just understand how actually it works and what's the difference between them. So I kindly recommend you to explore all of the documentations if you want to use it for yourself on a daily basis. Going down, what's next? So why money markets are important? Why lending protocols are important? We're going to the conclusion. Because they are the DeFi Lego block, like the first DeFi Lego block in the first tier. That's actually a main DeFi tool, a tool with a real yield, because a good example that actually lending protocol don't need to have a governance token. They are earning on the difference of the percentage between the supply and the borrow market, and they are solving a user's needs. With the lending protocol, your capital can be more efficient here. And there is a utility for the main crypto assets on any chain. So you can find, for example, on Aave, there is a main assets from Ethereum you're able to supply them, and you're able to borrow them. And that's the utilization for these assets, actually. Very good utilization, because the TVL of Aave right now is $21 billion. This is it. So the conclusion that the lending protocol and money market is very important. And without them, we couldn't have any DeFi ecosystems, and you couldn't build any DeFi and protocols on top. So I think the lending protocol is going to be the main part of the DeFi for a very long time. Let's go to the cases of usage for lending protocols. So one case, the first one, is a leverage. Easy. You can supply ETH, you can borrow USDT against your ETH, then you can swap USDT to ETH immediately and supply again, and repeat these supply cycles several times. What you will get, you'll be able to get a long position with X3 leverage, something like this. So, but with each cycle, your position becoming more and more risky. You may notice. You can build a short position. To build a short position, you need to supply USDT, borrow ETH, and swap ETH to USDT, then supply USDT to the supply assets. Very easy. And also you can do the leverage, but as much cycles as, so cycles fully dependent on the risks, and risks depend on the cycles. Then the second case, you can enter into the DeFi farming. For example, you can supply ETH, you can borrow USDT, and then you can play with the DeFi from your borrowed USDT. If you will lose some money here in a DeFi, you will still have a position, and maybe your risk will grow up, so you can pay your debt from your collateral. This is it. This is another example. So you can enter into the DeFi ecosystem with the lending protocol. Then the real life goals. So that's actually what I told you about the car. You can supply ETH, you can borrow USDT against your collateral, and you can buy a car. That's it. And the final one, you can earn yield by supplying assets. If you will go to the same Evaa or Aave, you will see here the supply APY. So, for example, you can supply USDT and you will earn almost 9%. That's how it's gonna work. But I would love to also go and share information about the future. Sorry, that's should call the future of lendings. So the future of lendings, soft liquidation. What it means? It means that we should invite the liquidator to liquidate your borrowed assets. But what if we will immediately sell some part of your assets to and repay your borrow? It's called soft liquidation. So we will need to have here an IMM protocol. If you're not experienced, that's right now going to be very hard and difficult to understand. So we need to have the IMM protocol here inside of this full ecosystem, and that part of your assets here are going to be sold through the pool, a special pool with ETH and USDT, for example, or a special stablecoin different than USDT, but you could also borrow this stablecoin. And that's what's realized, what's already Curve made. It's got Llama Land on the Curve, and they do have a soft liquidation. So actually, soft liquidation is a big different topic, and you can, if you want, you can go to the documentation of the Llama Land and you can check and understand how it works. But as simple as it's possible to explain, I did it. So it's IMM inside of the lending protocol, which sending part of your collateral to your debt. Then the cross-chain lendings. What it means that you can supply assets on the one chain and borrow assets on another chain. Also the cross-chain liquidations. Then non-collateralized loans. That's actually a very big idea and very big problem, because usually we need to have some collateral to take a loan. But in real world, we could have uncollateralized loans. That's actually how our credit cards works. We still don't have anything like this in crypto, because you don't have any identity in crypto, and in the real world you're revealing your identity, and that's actually a collateral. People are thinking what could be a collateral in crypto, maybe some credit score or something like this, but you should have something valuable what you don't want to lose, and you're going to be able to repay your debt to not lose this value of your address, of your history, something like this. So but no one can reach you to take the money back. That's actually an open topic, how to build an uncollateralized loans. And then PayFi lendings. PayFi, it's like a DeFi, but a PayFi. So how it gonna work? You will have your credit card, and you're gonna be able to pay in a restaurant And under the hood, going to be the lending protocol with your supplied assets, with your collateral and your borrowed assets. So you will pay, and at the same time, the position inside of the lending protocol will be updated. So you will be lending assets. So you do have a lended assets in supply, and you do have a borrowed assets, and the position going to be updated because the system will take more debt, more assets, and will borrow more assets, and we pay for you in the restaurant. And you're gonna need, it's like a normal credit card actually, but in a decentralized ecosystem. And you will be able to use it in the restaurants. That's actually very easy from the one side, but very difficult because you need to build some kind of wallet with where the part of the balance is going to be custodial, like a custodial balance. The part of the balance is going to be non-custodial balance because a system is going to be able to take part of your money to do the settlement, to borrow for you from the lending protocol on your position. But at the same time, you're going to be able to operate with your position by yourself. And right now it's possible with MPC technology, MPC wallets. So that's some kind of a future for lendings from my point of view. Then if you will use lending protocols, I would love to tell you that you're going to be taking risks. So you'll have risks exposure. And first risks from what we will start at going to be the blockchain, because the blockchain, it's the first initial layer of the risks made by people. People are making mistakes. Sometimes new blockchains can stop with all of your assets. Then wallets, also made by same people, also could be with the mistakes. Then tokens, written on the smart contracts deployed into the blockchain, made by people, could be with the mistakes and the smart contracts of tools, of the DeFi tools. So the lending protocol are based on the smart contracts, and it could be mistakes there. Then tokenomics issues of the tokens of what you're using. So the different type of issues, because it could be like programming issues with the programming language, some mistakes in solidity, or it could be economical issues with tokenomics, some economical bugs of the tokens and some economical bugs of the systems, actually economical bug of the lending protocol. And you need to know that all assets may be volatile. Then you had exposure to be liquidated, so liquidations is also risks, and scams. Sometimes developers don't want to provide you services with the financial tools. They just need your money, and they are selling you some financial thing just to take your money. So right now you know everything, and thank you so much for watching this video. You are starting DeFi, and soon, I think we just need a couple of years, the DeFi technologies behind DeFi will be implemented on the governance level, on the central banks level, and you're going to be a very, very important person and very, very wanted person because you understand. Thank you.